doing fine. It's a living life.
Namaste, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to The Way Om Yoga. My name is Sarah, and today we are going to be strapping ourselves in, both figuratively and literally, for our yoga practice. Now, I'm going to be using a yoga strap here today for this practice. Now, if you don't have one, don't worry about it, but I want to challenge you at home, especially if you don't have a yoga strap. I want you to get creative. So if you need to pause this video, go ahead and go find a belt, a resistance band, maybe a scarf. You can use a hand towel or even like a long sleeve sweater. That will do you just fine for this practice. But what we're more or less looking to create for today's practice is this action. So we are going to be, as you guessed, accessing the hamstrings and the hip flexors. So in order to do that, it might be a good idea to have this nearby. So pause this video if you need to. Go ahead and set that strap at the front edge of your mat, and then you're gonna meet me in downward facing dog. Now, for this first down dog, again, I wanna challenge you, the viewer, to take this down dog a little bit differently. So traditionally, we'll take down like so, hands will be shoulder distance apart, but for today's practice, I want you to try to turn the hands outward. Notice how that opens me up here, especially in that upper back, mid back. Okay, so we're looking for a greater degree of freedom as we're approaching this downward facing dog, okay? So, and if that doesn't work for you, go ahead and feel free to skip that, but I want you to come into downward facing dog with the knees bent, just pedaling out the feet, just getting nice and acquainted with this first posture, okay? And if you wanted to try that variation where you turn your hands out slightly, you are welcome to do that. Thank you so much for practicing here with me today. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tune our attention inward into our breath, starting on our next inhale through the nose. And exhale. And again, just moving about as needed if you want to extend one leg back behind you, and then the other, whatever degree of movement you need here in this first downward facing dog, okay? We'll stay for one more inhale. And exhale. Now on your next inhalation, we're gonna pick up that right leg straight up and back for three-legged dog. As you exhale, we're gonna bend the right knee and notice my right foot comes over towards the left wall, so towards the screen, okay? We're gonna come into down dog with the twist already right off the bat, getting into the hip flexor, getting into the hamstring. Notice I'm rolling out my ankle here, so you're welcome to do that as well. Just lightly stretching here just to get ourselves going. Beautiful. On your next inhalation, it's three-legged dog. As you exhale, let's step the right foot forward in between the hands, setting the left knee down. We're gonna meet in a low lunge to start. So you can prop yourselves up on blocks, maybe just bring the fingertips to the mat. Otherwise, let's go ahead and bring both arms up towards the ceiling, coming into a low lunge here. And again, just accessing, bringing our awareness into the front of the thigh, that left hip flexor, tuning into our breath on our next inhale and exhale. Let's go for two more. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. We're gonna set both hands down onto either side of that foot. Now we're gonna come into a half split here. So if you need to adjust by bringing that back leg in just a touch, go for it. Otherwise, we're going to extend through that right leg, keeping a slight micro bend in that extended leg here as we bring our hips back towards the back wall. Again, getting into the hamstrings, and then we're gonna move dynamically in and out. So inhale, we'll rebend. Exhale, let's go ahead and extend. Inhale and exhale. Two more. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Great job, everyone. Let's go ahead and come back into our low lunge. This time, we're gonna walk our right foot off of the yoga mat, coming into a low lizard lunge. So I like to move about a little bit here, especially for this first one, just warming up. But again, you can just stay put if that feels more appropriate for you. Another variation you can take, friends, especially if you're really feeling it, you want to get into the hamstrings a little bit more, into the quadriceps. What I'm gonna have you do here, you're gonna bring that right hand to the inside of the right thigh. We're gonna take this over into a gentle twist here. If you want to take this one step further, I want to challenge you to reach back and grab for the inside of that left foot, and then pressing your hand, or rather your foot, into the hand. Notice how that not only opens you up there through the quadricep, the hip flexor, but also gets a nice good shoulder opening as well. And again, these are just options. These are just many ways just to express the same posture, right? So always come back to these videos, keep practicing, be patient with yourself. Good, let's stay for one more inhalation. Exhale, let's let that go. We'll all come back into a low lunge. We'll walk that right foot in. Now, yogi's choice, you can either meet us in downward facing dog, maybe take child's pose if you need that. Otherwise, we're gonna take the vinyasa here. So we're not gonna take very many vinyasas in this class, so I do want to encourage you to try to take them if you can. Good. And then exhale, let's meet back into downward facing dog. We got one more side, friends. On your next inhalation, the left leg will come up and back behind us for three-legged dog. Exhale, same thing. Let's come into down dog with a twist once again. And again, just move about as needed. Really feel out this posture, noticing the difference between the right and now the left side. Beautiful. We'll stay here for one more inhale and exhale. On your next inhalation, that left leg will come straight up and back for three-legged dog. Exhale. Let's step the left foot forward this time. Meeting in that low lunge once again. Same options. Take what feels ever most appropriate for you today. Good. We'll stay here for 3 cycles of breath, starting on your next inhale and exhale. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. 1 more. Inhale and exhale. Gorgeous. Let's go ahead and set both hands down, meeting in that half split once again. Extending through that left leg, slight micro bend of that left leg as well. Good. And then inhale, we'll rebend. Exhale to extend, brings you back. Good. Inhale, rebend. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Let's go for 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Let's bring it back forward, preparing for our lizard lunge. So I like to just heel toe my left foot off the yoga mat. And again, same options as the right side if you just want to move about a little bit here. Getting into the hips, you're welcome to. If you like that variation where you took the left hand to the inside of the left thigh, make this into a twist, you're welcome to do that. Or I want you to reach back and grab for the inside of the right foot this time. Okay. Listening to our bodies. Good. We'll stay here for an inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Very good. We'll gently let that go. Let's all come back to a low lunge. Yogi's choice. If you want to take that vinyasa, go for it. It's there for you. Otherwise, just take down dog. Maybe child's pose. Take a break, take a moment. All right. We're gonna continue on from here, friends. So on your next inhalation, that right leg is gonna come up and back behind us. This time as you exhale, we're gonna step the right foot forward once again, but this time we're gonna prepare for warrior one. Okay, so we're gonna root to rise up through warrior one. Notice that both of my hips are facing forward for this. I'm pressing down firmly through the outer edge of my left foot. Good. We'll stay here and hold for another inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. So we're gonna add on from here. We're gonna come into pyramid pose. So I like to walk my back foot in just a touch to make this happen. And very similar to how we were taking that half split, I'm gonna start to hinge from my waist here. And again, you could keep a micro bend in that standing leg, but I'm gonna merge forward here, get into my hamstring. I'm gonna try to keep my spine nice and long as I start to come forward. Now, you by no means have to go that far forward, and something I did in my own personal practice, if you have your strap or your makeshift strap, I'm gonna place that underneath the ball of my right foot, and check this out. Taking the strap, one in each hand here, you can use this as leverage, right? You could use this as support to keep you upright. You could even keep your arms fully extended, right? So you could really control the degree of movement here, just depending on your flexibility. So play with that today, if that's in your practice. You have that strap there available to you. We'll get creative today. Good. And we'll continue to hold here for one more inhale. And exhale. I lied, we're gonna stay here for 2 more cycles of breath. Good, we'll stay for another inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Well done, everyone. Go ahead and set that strap off to the side if you were using it. In fact, you know what? Go ahead and place that at the back end of your mat. I'll kind of show you where we're gonna head next. So placing that strap at the back end of your yoga mat, we're gonna come forward here. So notice that I just pivoted on my feet. I'm facing forward here, and I'm coming into a wide-legged stretch, otherwise known as prasarita in Sanskrit. All right, so you can grab onto your ankles for leverage in this posture. If you want to bring your hands just straight out in front of you, maybe on a set of yoga blocks if you have those available. But what I want you to do here is just allow the crown of the head just to hang heavy. Spine is nice and long. And again, we're just getting into the backs of the legs here and just enjoying this nice stretch for the hamstrings. Prasarita has a very calming, very cooling, pacifying effect on the body. So as we're approaching these warm summer months, this is a very good posture to lean into in your practice. Excellent job, friends. We'll stay for another inhale. And exhale. Beautiful job. So we're gonna slowly come up halfway here. So notice I'm gonna turn onto my feet. Basically all I'm gonna do is just take warrior one, but facing the back wall. So notice my left foot is forward. I have that yoga strap there at the ready. And then we're gonna press down through the outer edge of our back foot, rooting to rise up through warrior one. And we'll stay here for another inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. So you know where we're headed. We're coming into pyramid pose once again. So if you need to make any adjustments, if you want to grab that yoga strap again, and I can briefly demonstrate what that will look like for you. Just taking either end here, one strap in the right hand, one in the left. I'm gonna use that strap as leverage, as support, and again, you can control. You're the one dictating the terms here in this yoga practice. So whatever makes the most sense for you. I'm gonna practice without the strap for this one. And just finding greater ease with each inhale. And every exhale, just allowing you to create a little bit more space in that hamstring. Good. We'll stay for another inhale. Exhale, let that go. Beautiful job, everyone. Set your strap off to the side here. And then once again, we're just gonna pivot onto the feet. Once again, coming into Prasarita. This time, you can take it just like we did before, just with the hands either out in front, maybe grabbing onto the ankles. But I wanna encourage you, let's try this with a twist. So, placing that left palm down, we're gonna reach up through that right arm, right hand, and take this over into a gentle twist. Yeah. And if some of you want to wrap and bind here, grabbing onto the top of the left thigh, getting into that shoulder, that always feels so good to me. And just taking the head and neck where it feels comfortable. You can look down at the ground, maybe straight ahead. Yeah, just finding greater ease with each breath. Beautiful job. All right, once again, let's come back into this twist with that right arm up. Good. Exhale, we'll go ahead and set the right hand down. Let's take this over on the opposite side. So left hand comes up, right hand remains down. And again, just playing with our options here. If you want to wrap and bind, you're welcome to do that. Slowing the breath down. Good, good. Let's stay for another inhale, shall we? And exhale. Beautiful job. Let's go ahead and unwrap if you were taking that option. We'll set the left hand down. Let's go ahead and turn onto the feet here. We'll step back once again into downward facing dog. Beautiful job. And from downward facing dog, why not? Let's all take just child's pose just for a moment, just to recalibrate, just to come back to our breath, to our intention. And please stay here for as long as you need to. Otherwise, we're gonna move on here. Let's make our way onto our backs, friends. Nice and carefully, making sure that that strap is nice and close by you, just within arm's reach. We're gonna come into bridge pose, and just as a way to not only lengthen the hip flexors, but also to strengthen the backs of the legs as well. So I'm gonna take my feet about knee distance, hip distance apart here. I'm gonna place my hands down so palms are facing down. And what I like to do, I like to recruit my legs. So I'm going to press down into my feet. I'm going to engage the backs of my legs. I'm going to engage the bottoms of my glutes here. And then I'm going to start to draw my shoulder blades down and under me. So I'm going to puff up my chest. I'm going to press up through those thighs, through the hip flexor here. I'm going to root down through my feet as I come into bridge pose. Beautiful job. We'll hold here for one more inhale and then exhale. Let's carefully set that all down. Excellent. We'll hug the knees in towards our chest here, rocking side to side. Good. So I have just a couple more stretches for us before we get into our peak posture where we're going to be using the yoga strap, okay? So we're going to come into pigeon pose, but we're going to take this from a supine position, so just meaning on our back. So notice that I'm crossing my right ankle over my left thigh, and then I'm going to hug my knees in towards my chest here, bringing them in nice and close. And again, you can play around with this variation. You can extend the leg. I personally get a little bit more from keeping both legs bent, but that's just me. And of course, you can wrap around and interlace the fingers on the top of that shin if you have that available, okay? But we won't be here long, but this is just like a nice alternative if you can't quite get into pigeon pose comfortably, like starting from down dog and coming into traditional pigeon. So I like to do this one from time to time. I feel like it's a little bit more forgiving on the knees. All right, friends, we'll stay for one more inhale. Exhale, let that go. Now, I want you to keep this configuration. We're just simply gonna set the left foot down, but keeping this twist here, we're gonna set that right foot off towards the left-hand side of the yoga mat. So we're getting into the IT band. We're also getting into that outer hip. For some of us, we might be feeling this in the low back, maybe the inner thigh. Just taking pigeon pose with a twist. And we'll stay here for one more inhale, friends. Exhale, let that go. Let's come back to center. And again, if you want to hug your knees in towards your chest, maybe if you want to take like happy baby pose for your counter pose before we get the other side, you are welcome to do that. Okay. All right, let's set up on the other side. So pigeon pose, we're gonna cross the left ankle this time over the right thigh. Same options as before. And just take whatever feels most appropriate today. And then again, let's stay here for one more inhale. Exhale, let that go. And again, still keeping the legs crossed here. We're gonna set the the right foot down this time, coming into a twist here. And I forgot to mention on the other side, you can just simply bring your arms out like a T. Some of you may wanna reach down for that, that top ankle, so the left ankle. And then once again, friends, we'll stay here for an inhale. And exhale. Let's come back to center, nice and carefully. Whatever counter pose you prefer. And just gently rocking things out. All right, my friends, so finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. So I want you to grab your yoga strap here, whatever you decided to grab today. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna demonstrate what we'll get into next. So actually, I'm gonna start with both knees bent here. So keeping that left knee bent, I'm simply just gonna grab my yoga strap and I'm gonna place it around the ball of my right foot. So this could just be your hamstring stretch right here for today. You can take the strap in one hand or in both. It's really just up to you. But what I want you to find is just some mild sensation here in the back of the leg. For me, I'm not feeling a thing, so I'm gonna have to straighten my leg just a little bit. So whatever degree of motion you have today. I just want you to be patient with yourself. I want you to work skillfully today. Come back to this video. If you need to place like a bolster or like a rolled up blanket, especially if your knee is coming up off the mat, I want you to do that, okay? But again, I just want you to find just a little bit of a stretch here in the back of the leg, using the strap to assist you. And normally in yoga, this is called like a big toe grab. So you would take like your 2-piece fingers like so. But just for today, I thought we could approach this posture by getting creative with our yoga props. So we'll stay here for 2 more cycles of breath, starting on our next inhale through the nose. And exhale. 1 more inhale. Gorgeous, and exhale. Now, we're gonna change things up a little bit. We're gonna come into a twist here. So I like to take my strap in my left hand, and then I'm gonna slowly make my way into a twist. And again, if you need to use like blocks or maybe a bolster, a blanket underneath the right leg, you are welcome to do that. And just notice that I'm bringing my right hand out, kind of like out like a T here. And again, whatever degree of motion you're working with today, just honor your body, honor where it's at. I don't know about you guys at home, but I'm definitely feeling this also in like my lower back too, in addition to my hamstring. Okay, let's stay here for 1 more inhale and exhale. Very carefully, we're going to slowly bring things back up to center. You know, and I wasn't going to offer up this next option, but you know what the heck, let's go ahead and do it. We're going to just bring the right leg out over towards the right wall. So again, I'm going to bring my left arm out like a T, and just notice like I can hold my leg here suspended like so, using my strap, right? Or I could put a prop underneath me if I need additional support. And again, you could take it with the legs bent as well. I forgot to mention that on the other side. Okay. No need to lock anything out. All right, friends, we're going to stay here for 2 more cycles of breath, starting on our next inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. Beautiful job. And I'm actually just going to keep my leg bent as I come back up towards center. Okay. If you need to just take like windshield wipers here for a second, find a little bit of movement before we get our final side, go ahead and move about as needed. You guys are doing great, by the way. And actually, let me know in the comments what you all came up with, especially for those of us that are using just like household objects today for our yoga strap. I'd be curious to see what you all came up with. Okay, so left side this time. So I have my left leg up, extended. You can keep your right leg bent for support if you need that. And again, you could take this in both hands or in one hand. It's really just up to you, okay? But go ahead and find your posture here. Find what makes the most sense for you. And starting now, we'll just start to even out that breath. Starting on our next inhale. And exhale. One more inhale here, friends. And exhale. Good. So I'm going to take my yoga strap in my right hand. And then we'll stay here for one more final inhale, friends. And exhale. Gorgeous. Let's come back up through center. And then if you need to switch hands here, I'm going to bring my strap over into my left hand. And I'm going to bring this stretch out to the side. And we'll just stay here for a few more cycles of breath. And then we'll stay here for one more final inhale, friends. Exhale, let that go. And then we'll go ahead and bring it back up towards center. I'm gonna get a counter pose here. If you wanna take windshield wipers again, you're welcome to. I'm gonna take happy baby. And just roll side to side here. Just nice and easy. Beautiful. I'm going to gently rock up to seated to close off this practice with you. However, no rush at all. If you have the time, now would be a good time to get final Shavasana, maybe a meditation practice if that is suitable for you. But otherwise, I want to thank you all so much for being here. I had so much fun offering up this class for you all, and I will see you in the next video. Until next time, namaste.